What is up, y'all? I don't know what to say. It's been a minute with trading. It's been a minute. Um Now, yeah. I don't really have much to say. If you have been following me for day trading content, you may have seen what's going on with some other content. But I am back here. I've been very busy and I decided to lay low off some of this hard content and really help you guys with trading because that's the second half of my channel. 100% the second half of my channel. So with this being said, today we are going to learn about break-even points and why they are important. So this is a very important but simple video. Basically a break-even point, right? Now this can be when you're in a trade and the point gets hit and you decide to put your stop loss at where you place the trade, or a break even, or the supposed entry, right? Or before you place a trade, if there's a point that is touched that would give your trade a far less probability outcome, a far less likely outcome, then you don't place or you wait for something else. Or sometimes you just say, fuck. Now we just have to wait for literally the opposite thing, or continuation, right? We wait for a reversal or continuation. Basically, if you don't have these points, you could very well cook yourself. So I decided to not trade today. Though I don't know if that was a good idea or a bad idea by the looks of this market. Maybe not. So I'm going to start with the first example, which is not going to be live. I'm just going to show you guys a smaller example. So let's say, we want to, come on. This isn't all good, is it? I want to find, obviously, yesterday! Dude, guys, yesterday, oh my gosh, there was it's just trash yesterday, but there were some Jewish fake outs, bro. The banks were out to get us, guys. It was so bad. Oh my gosh. So, I see a few points that clearly market reversed from. And let's figure out, how we can prevent this type of shit. So, let's say, I remembered that London session high being decently important, as well as this. And I also didn't place a trade. I was waiting for a short, but with a entry, which didn't really happen, did it? For those who were on the market. So I found in this example one way I'll take out a trade, one break-even point. This is where the other chart of the pair, NASDAQ and S&P, touches a point that is important, that could cause manipulation, that could finish the reason liquidity was pushing towards this specific direction. Let's say we decide to take a short on NASDAQ off of this 5-minute inversion of a fair value gap. We decide to say, hey, I like this. Stops above here, above this point, because there's no lower high. It's just a big old point in the open. And we decide to target, which is what I was going to do yesterday. Sadly, this was not enough confirmation for me. I really did not like it, especially because we had just touched into this 5-minute fair value gap and needed to see, what was going to happen there. I just froze. My mind just froze. I was thinking about why I didn't play this, and then I forget. Well, we formed this candle down, and then we touch on this one, and it's just like, okay, give me a retracement. And guess what market did not do? Market did not give me a retracement. So that sucked. Okay, back to what I was saying. We inverse this on the 5. We want to place here stops above this one high because there is no lower high to protect us. We can't have our stops here, 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 here. It's going to be right here. Now, we obviously see a pretty a point that is like this with all of this wicks, and a point that has all of this liquidity behind it, right, is a decent amount, important, volatile, dangerous. It's a prominent point, whatever you want to call it. Well, we never hit this point on NASDAQ, and then it may, by the looks of things, have stopped us out. But what actually happened was, in this candle right here, S&P actually touched this point, right? S&P touched this point. Now, they are what? The same point. S&P even grabbed this liquidity, right? Which is even worse. So then what did we do? We moved up. Okay, NASDAQ did not need to just go down to. NASDAQ has its minion S&P grabbing, or has its minion ES grabbing liquidity. Okay, and NASDAQ is going to say, let's just move up now. Right, leave this motherfucker in the dust. S&P just proved the future of NASDAQ, possibly, which is why we have now a break-even trade. Now, for example, quickly, before I finish saying what I was going to say, if we were supposed to place our trade right after this 5-minute inversion, but we ended up getting filled down here, where does break even go logically? It still goes where you were supposed to place. And I'll tell you why. You might lose just a tiny bit of money then, but if the retraced up to here and then came all the way back down, you would have been fine in this scenario. But in this scenario, you would have been stopped out. It is worth sometimes the extra 0.3% loss, 0.2% loss to just really dial in a quality break-even trade. I've had this happen before where I literally put my break-even where I placed and was filled horribly, and I have had a retrace stop me out and then move back down without touching the official break-even point. So we would obviously put our break-even right here. Now we would have got stopped out at break-even, lost no money, just break even, right? Money fluctuated from positive to just nothing, but that's fine. Okay? There's no reason to hold and forget or set and forget, as these TikTokers say. There's zero reason for that. There's no logic behind it, guys. There's no logic behind it. That's just gambling, and I just ripped ass. That's just gambling. Set it and forget? Bruv, London lows just got swept with so much manipulation towards the upside after this mad retracement, and you're still setting and forgetting. There's not much logic behind that. I know people do this like Alex G. It's just not logical. Why? Okay. And as I was saying before, I want you guys to really understand how this works. NASDAQ is the better index. NASDAQ is cleaner. NASDAQ is the leading index. The top 100 stocks in the US are on NASDAQ. S&P has the top 500 stocks. If ES started to dump, NASDAQ could go up. If ES started to go up, NASDAQ could literally go down or stay the fucking same. NASDAQ is the big dog. And in this scenario, S&P grabbed these lows, and it just made sense. There's all of this liquidity, okay? NASDAQ isn't going to show really any proof because it's just a cleaner chart, but S&P is that minion showing us what is really happening behind the scenes, if that kind of makes sense. So when S&P grabbed the same lows that NASDAQ had, that's slave work, bruv. We knew what was going to happen. Break even on NASDAQ, okay? Boom. I hope that makes sense. Let's find another break-even point for you guys, okay? In this scenario, let's say we wanted to take a long because we were like, fuck everybody's short position. I'm going to take a long. Okay, we have this big old little easily 1 minute retracement. Let's just say place on, since you actually get a far better entry, looks to be like on NASDAQ. Right, let's just, place a long. And let's target the highs of the last day's New York City open session. In this trade, you are genuinely hoping that market has had its retrace and can just pass this high and continuate. Now, this is a very prominent high. Okay, this high has liquidity here. During this high, there looks to be like, oh my gosh, not equal highs, but there's all of this liquidity behind it. It had, I'm just creating these scenarios. Usually I'm more logical than this. Quite literally wouldn't care in this situation, but yeah, bro, this would be a break-even point. This would be prominent. Now, what happens, right, is we touch this point. Okay. Again, break-even point is hit right here. We do move up, but as we are moving up, our break-even or our stop loss is now where we place our trade. Boom, dumps, we get out. Now, what would have happened, right? Clearly, this point was prominent enough for market to move down. So we would have absolutely been destroyed. That's right. We would have been destroyed. Our stop loss was underneath this tiny, not even a tick, 5-minute FVG. We would have been utterly destroyed. Now, if you look on S&P, S&P had the same thing. You could have placed right here too. You could have put your stops under basically the same area. You could have targeted this. In fact, I would have been less greedy and just targeted this. This would have probably been the better trade to take if both charts, or if this chart on the 1 minute had a quality retracement with something, maybe this would have been the trade to take. Realistically though, right, you would have just hit your stops. But if you did want to target the point right here from yesterday's market open high session, then you would have also been stopped out. Okay. But as you can see, break-even points prevent your trades from going to shit because of important things happening. Now, I'll show you an example, though, of a break-even point being hit and not fucking moving against what you want, right? And actually, I think for me, it was the other day that this happened, and I was perfectly fine. What did I take? Did I take a short? Yeah, I took a short, if I'm correct. Don't remember, actually. Did I take a short? I don't know. All right. So the other day, I ended up placing a trade. I think it was on NASDAQ. I don't entirely remember what I did. I actually don't entirely remember what I did. Oh my gosh, I just ripped ass, bro. What did I do? So I won't explain my whole trade, but I basically placed, I think I had placed where? I think I had placed around this area. Targeted or stops were above this high, this unprotected high. I think I had my TP down here. Now my break even was at this, I think it was a tight trade. I think I had my break even point at the bottom of this 5-minute FVG. I was thinking, you know what? Price has done a lot. It's going to move farther down, okay, from this position where I placed. I was saying there's a lot of manipulation. It's going to move farther down than where I placed. Okay, we had inversed this fair value gap on S&P. Actually, where did I place? I think I did place somewhere, whatever. Basically, I was saying, okay, we have to at least fill this whole 5-minute FVG. We have to. There's no shot we're not. Well, break-even point was at the bottom. What happened was, yeah, we pretty much filled it, and then we kept going. I completely forget where I actually placed my trade. Don't tell me it was here. I think it was like here, maybe. Well, obviously we touched this break-even point. Okay, well, clearly it wasn't here because I would have been stopped out. Must have been on S&P, whatever. Well, basically what happened on both charts was we touched that point and then we had a small little retracement. And basically it was just a retrace, right? It wasn't a reversal. It was just a retrace and continuation. And we made, I think it was a 1-7. I completely forget. I think I placed an S&P. But we made a 1-7. The break-even point was hit. Okay, stops right here. Retracement, continuation. Boom. No reversal. It's not always going to be a reversal. Some of these prominent points are just more manipulation to keep moving the same direction. Okay, yeah, we grabbed this. They're like, okay, we have a lot of price. Let's rebalance. Come back up. Oh, come back down because, of course, they wanted to keep moving down. Break-even points. I'll get more into this in the future videos where I can really get in-depth and intellectual with you traders. But these videos are just breaking the ice with these confluence. I'm just breaking the ice simply with these types of things, okay? You know the basics of break-even points now. I showed you 3 examples. And remember, every single video I make until we put things together is going to be breaking the ice. After we put things together and after I have you guys low-key trading for a few mornings by yourself, then we're going to get intellectual. We're going to go very much in depth. We are going to go deep into this stuff. You guys that are new, you're going to learn this stuff. It's going to be a little bit hard, but for those who are intermediate and just need some more knowledge, you're going to have fun. And I am excited to help all sorts of traders with this. It's all for free on my YouTube. I love it. It's fun. I love helping you guys. Yeah. So with that being said, y'all, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.